Hello. Okay guys, we are live. So hello everyone, I'm Arshal Jain and today we are going to build a JavaScript game, and that's a stack tower game. Okay, so I hope everyone has watched my previous projects. So we have built some projects. You can visit the Geeks for Geeks channel. There you would find my playlist, and we have covered some projects using HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Alright, and now some of you might be wondering that why are we only covering HTML, CSS, JavaScript projects? So this is you can consider this as basics, but after this video, like this is another JavaScript project, HTML, CSS, JavaScript project. After this video, you can see that in the channel we have scheduled a React.js project. Okay, so that project is just like a sidebar. We'll be creating a sidebar. Like it would be an animated sidebar using React.js. So for that, some knowledge of HTML, CSS, JavaScript is required. That's why we covered some HTML, CSS, JavaScript projects. Right. So today, what we're gonna do is we're gonna build an awesome project that's stack game. Okay. So this is totally built using HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Right. So for that, let me just first of all show you the demo. So I have already created this demo and I have saved it. So let me just show you. And it's like going to be very easy. It's just like we need to have some logic, and I'm going to show you the logic. Okay, so yes, okay, I'll just open the code into the browser, the website into the browser, and yes, so you can see that it looks like this. Okay, so it's a very easy game. Like as soon as I click, so you can see that the extra part goes down, extra part goes down, extra part goes down. Okay, and like this. Okay, so by the way, my highest score in this game is actually 10, I guess, and in this case I just scored 6. So you can see this is a very good game. Let's try to get a higher score so that we can get something else. Okay, so let's try to play this game again. Okay, and I'm very bad at this, by the way, but still I'll try to score as high as possible. Okay, 8. Okay, anyway, so you can see that that's the game which we are going to build, and the purpose of this game is to just stack the boxes, and the boxes would shift downwards as soon as a new boxes come. And if there is an extra space, then the yellow part would be the extra space that would go down. And if you don't match like this, then the game would be over. Okay, so we'll cover all of the logic, but I hope you understood what's the purpose of this game. Okay, so this is known as the stack tower game. If you have played this when we were kids, we usually played this game. Okay, so this was in our mobile phones, and I always remember that when my dad had a small mobile phone that was Nokia, some button phone. Okay, it was just a button phone, keypad phone, and it had this game. Okay, we used to had different name for this game, but it's just a stack tower game. Okay, so similar games you might find with different names. Okay, so we are going to build this now. Okay, in the childhood we played this game, now we are going to build this game. Okay, so that's how time changes. So now what we're going to do is let's open the VS Code, but for that let me just show you how you can open VS Code. And first of all you need to download something, so just download VS Code. Okay, so download VS Code, just search for this, and here you would find this. So if you search for this, you'd get this website, and you just download it for Windows and install the setup. That's it. That's how you install VS Code. And make sure do one thing: when you are installing the setup of VS Code, just check all the checkboxes so that shortcuts are enabled. That's it. Okay. And one more thing is I'm going to provide the complete source code. So where will you get the complete source code? You just need to search for github.com/VIRAJJ014. So this is my GitHub profile. Here guys, what you have to do is just go to the repositories, and in the repositories you would find HTML CSS projects. Okay, so I'll just upload the project for today's project also, so in my repository, so you'll get the project. I'll explain how you can get the exact source code, but yeah, all of the source codes are going to be available in my GitHub profile. Right, so now let's continue. And one more thing guys, a lot of you might be wondering what's exactly the Geeks for Geeks 90 days challenge. So let's visit the Geeks for Geeks official website, and here we can get the Geeks for Geeks 90 days challenge. Okay, so you can see this is the website, and here you can see we have some steps. So what does this challenge say? It's like when you participate, when you purchase any course at Geeks for Geeks, and you finish it 90% of the course within 90 days, then you would get 90% of the amount refunded. Okay, so if you purchase any course in January and you finish 90% of the course within 90 days, then you get 90% of the amount refunded. Okay, so that's a very great motivation to finish something, because when I started some courses, personally, when I learn something, so I'm a very lazy guy and I need such kind of motivations. Okay, so it's a great one, and I think maximum of you can take the benefit of this by just getting 90% of the amount refunded easily, right? So now let's continue, and I have downloaded VS Code. My VS Code is already there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open VS Code. So I'll just create a new folder, and I'm just going to name it as Stack Tower Live. Okay, so that I know that this is a live video, so that's why I'm giving this as live. Okay, so yes, I'll just right click and open this with VS Code. Yes, and here I'll just create a file named as index.html. Okay, similarly guys, we're gonna have one more file, that is script.js, right? Similarly, we're gonna have one more file, that is style.css. Okay, so inside HTML we are going to create, write the HTML code, and here guys we're gonna have one more thing, that is an image. Okay, a background image. So let me just paste the background image which we need. So I'm just going to paste the image here directly. So you can see this is the image which contains some clouds and some background. Okay, so you'll get the complete image and code into my GitHub profile. I'll share that when we end this video. Okay, so now let's continue with the HTML code first, then we are going to write the JavaScript code. Okay, just a second. All right, so now let's continue, and I'm going to start with the HTML code. Let's name it as stack tower game. Okay, stack tower game. Now guys, here what you have to do is, here I would start with the basic HTML lines. So in HTML you don't have that much, we will be creating a canvas, so HTML canvas would be used here. So first of all, in the body I'm just going to say that we have a h1 tag, and let's give a heading of stack tower game, right? Then after this guys, we're gonna have a p tag which has a class of score out. Okay, I'm just going to give this a class of score out. Inside this guys, we are gonna have a score class. Inside this, we're gonna have a span tag which would contain our score number. Okay, so I'll just give it an ID. It would contain the updated score number, so score number, and we are going to update the score using JavaScript. Okay, so initially the score would be 0, so I'll just set it to 0, right? I think that's fine. So this would be in top left corner, and this would be in center and top. Okay, this would be in center, top center. It would be in top center, top left, and this would be in top center. Okay, so that's how these would be there. And then we are gonna have a canvas tag. Inside this, we're gonna create our game. So canvas tag, and let's give it an ID of suppose my canvas. Okay, my canvas, and let's say it has an initial width of 800. You can change this if you want. I'll just give it 800, and height has 800. uh okay, we can just change the height to 600, a little bit lesser. Okay, then you can see this, that's how your canvas will be created. Okay, then we have one more tag, that is h2 tag, which would be shown when the game is over. Okay, so I'll just say class, and I'll just say game over text, and I'm just going to show some text here for the game over. So I'll just say game over and exclamation, and I'll just say click to play again. That's it. So now let's see how it looks. So guys, here you would see that our board has been okay, so I have to start this. So I'll just open this with live server. So you can see that's how our board looks right now, and we want this outcome. Okay, we want this outcome. So first of all, let's create that by using CSS. Okay, by using CSS we're gonna create the board. So let's do that. So in the CSS, I think we need to add some classes only, then everything would be fine. Okay, so first of all, I'll say that we have the CSS here, right? So we have to give the link tag here. So link tag, and we have to import style.css. That's it. So I've imported the CSS, and now I'm going to just write my CSS here. Okay, all right. So for that, guys, if you have any doubts, you can ask me in the live chat. I'll be answering all of them. Okay. So here I'll just say, first of all, we target the body, and then I'll just say M0, that means margin 0, padding 0, and then I'll just say everything would be in center. So I want display as flex, and then justify content center, align item center. This would bring everything in center of the page. Okay, all elements in the center of the page. So you can see that right now everything is in center, and what I want is, I want flex direction as column, because I want things like moving like this, showing like this, so you can see like this. Okay, so it's in column. Now what else is needed is, I can actually give some font family. So I'll just say that, suppose the font family is Sergio UI, so I'll just give this one, and I think this is fine. Okay, so I've given the font family also, looks cool, and I think now we can just style the inner fields. Okay, so now I'll just say that my h1 tag, that is the main heading, would be first of all in center, so text align center, and then I would give that font size of, I think the default is 50 pixel or less, so let's write 50 pixel. And I would just say that the color of this is white, and I would give some text shadow. Okay, so text shadow to 10 pixel and black. Okay, so this is some text shadow which I have given, so you can see that's how it actually looks. Okay, so you can modify this, and I have picked some color, so I'll just write that color directly. So hashtag this. Okay, so this is a little bit of transparent color with just black. Okay, so you can see that's how it actually looks. That's the heading, right? That's how the text shadow works, right? So after this, what we're gonna do is, we're gonna have the h2 tag also, that is the game over text. So I'm just going to write h2, and I'll just again say text align would be center, and then the color would always be red for the error. Okay, and I think initially it won't be shown, so I'll just make the display as none. But when there is game over, then only I would show that. So you can see right now the game over is gone. If I show this, you can see right now it's here. Okay, so whenever there is game over, then only I would show this. Okay, so right now I'll just make the display as none. That means I won't show this. Okay, now after that we have to style the canvas also. So I'll just say we have the my canvas, or we can just directly target the canvas tag. Okay, canvas tag, and what I want is, I want some background image for this. So background URL. Okay, and inside this I would just write dot slash bgimg png. Okay, so you can see that we have this background for the canvas. Now what else, I'm going to say that the display for this would be block. So display is block, right? And margin would be 0 from top and bottom, and left and right would be automatic. So yes, and then after that we are gonna give some box shadow to this, so that it's a little bit lifted. Okay, so you can see that's how it looks, and you can see it's a little bit lifted, right? Now what else, I think if I give it cover, so you can see that's how it actually looks. uh Okay, I think that's how it actually looks, and this is fine, I think, right? So now what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna target the score out class. Okay, so score out class is actually this one. Yes, this one. That's score out. Okay, that's score out. So I'm just going to target this. This is a p tag, so I'm just going to style this. Okay, so score out class. What I want is, it must be in top left. So position is absolute, and I want it to be in top left. Okay, so top 0 pixel, and left 0 pixel. So you might see that now it's in top left, so you can see score is in top left, right? Now I'm going to give it a background color of white, and text color of black. So you would see that, yes, and then I want it to be lifted a little bit. So first of all, I'll just give it a padding of 10 pixel, and border radius of 20 pixel. So yes, I want to give it a lift also, so that the border is visible. So some box shadow, same as this one, so copy and paste. Now you would see, yeah, it looks like this. And I can give it some margin also, so margin would be of around 10 pixel. So you can see some margin is here, and then after that we are gonna give some minimum width, so that it looks wider. So minimum width would be suppose 100 pixels. So you can see that it looks like this. Now I want to bring it in center, the text in center. So I'll just say text align as center. So now the text is also in center, right? And let's increase the font size a little bit. So font size would be 20 pixels. So you can see that's how it actually looks. Okay, so that's the game which we created, and now we have to write the logic for this. Okay, write the logic for this. That means how it must work. It must work like this. So if I click on this, you can see it works like this. Okay, so that's the final outcome for today, and I think I will be able to score a little bit more. Okay, let me just play this game. Okay, yes. And you can see as soon as I hit the next box, you can see that the speed is also increasing. So that actually increases the difficulty level. So even if you are pro at the precision, when you know exactly when to click, like some people might place their mouse in the exact position and just click whenever it hits, like that, some logic. What I did was, whenever there is some key press, you can see whenever I press a key, next time when you press the key, the speed would be increased. So you can see that the speed is comparatively more. Okay, speed is comparatively more. So you can see, yes, that's how it actually works. Okay, now the score is 11. I think the maximum till I reached till now. Okay, now let's focus on the code. So here what we have to do is we have to build the left and right moving box. Like what? Like this. So you can see we have the left and right moving box. Yes, that's a rectangle by the way. So that's a left and right moving rectangle. So we have to build this. Then we have to build one more logic, that is whenever I press this, I have to move rectangle in vertical direction. So two logic would be created. Okay, so now let's come here and I'm going to write my JavaScript. So I'm just going to write script tag here. So script, and I'm just going to load my script.js file. Inside this we're going to write the JavaScript, right? So let's write that. We can't see behind hashtags. Okay, just a second. Okay, you are talking about the sticker. Okay, actually I placed my camera like that. Don't worry about the hashtag. Okay, it's just like, let me just hide myself. Okay, it's because of my camera, right? So it's like 390 challenge. That's it. That's the sticker. Okay, nothing else. I think rest everything was visible apart from the sticker. Okay, right. I hope everyone knows what's 390 challenge. So 390 challenge is a challenge by Geeks for Geeks for you all. So if you purchase any course from us within 90 days, if you finish the 90% of the course, then you get 90% of the amount refunded. Okay, so that's what 90-day challenge is. But the condition is you have to finish the course within 90 days, and the course must be purchased in January. Okay, after that you can't purchase. If you purchase a course after January, then you won't be able to participate in this challenge. Okay, now let's continue. भाई तबीयत खराब है क्या? एग्जैक्टली तबीयत थोड़ी खराब है थोड़ा सा वेदर भी खराब है, इसलिए मुझे थोड़ा सा वैसा लग रहा है, गला बैठ गया है थोड़ा भाई तुम्हारा फिटनेस ऐप का कोड थोड़ा अपडेट कर देना प्लीज़. Okay, hashtag sticker. Okay, okay, okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You are talking about that score. Thanks for pointing that out. So, what we can do is I'll just hide this. Okay, just a second. Sorry, GFG. I'll just hide this. Okay, ठीक है? अब तो visible है. Okay, now let's continue. Lucifer, you are asking for the fitness app code, so I wanted to know that exactly what are you talking about? I guess some people had a query about the admin code or the front end code. So please mention specifically which code are you talking about in the fitness app. All right. Now let's continue with the JavaScript. If you have any doubts, you can mention in the live chat. I'll be looking at all of your doubts. Okay. So let's begin. First of all, we are going to target our canvas. So let canvas. So canvas is generally used in HTML, like you won't be using this anywhere else, but still For this specific project we are using canvas in HTML. We could have created a normal division which works like a canvas, that would also work, but I think canvas is a good tool which HTML has provided us, so we are going to use this. Okay, so I'll just target the canvas. I think what we have given this is we have given this an ID of my canvas. Okay, so we are going to write my canvas, that's it. So we have targeted the canvas tag, right? Then we are going to target one more thing, that is game over text. So game over text, and we're going to target this. So document I think we have given this what a class. Okay, so we have given this a class, so I'll just use query selector. So dot query selector. Okay, so query selector, inside this we are going to say we want to target this class. Okay, so just write the class with a dot. Okay, with a dot. When you write query selector, you have to write dot or hashtag, depends on the class or the ID. Okay, so now we have targeted this. Now similarly we are going to target one more thing, that is we have score number also. So I think we have an ID for this. Okay, so I'll just use get element by ID directly. So let score number equals document dot get element by ID, and guys here I would just write the ID. Okay, that is score number. So we have targeted these elements. I think we have targeted all of them. Now what else do we need is we need to create a 2D context. Whenever you are working with the canvas, you need to create a 2D context so that you can show elements inside the canvas. Okay, so I'll just say let context equals canvas dot get context. So from the canvas itself, like when you created the canvas, you are just getting the context. Okay, so how it would help? We would be able to know exact position of the element, and according to that, we can manipulate our canvas and we can update the score. Okay, so for that we need to get the context. Okay, and I think everything is fine. What else we need is we have used everything. Okay, भाई मेरा ऐप पर GDPR मैसेज अपडेट करने के बाद ऐड शो होना बंद हो गया है, रिक्वेस्ट जा रही है बट ऐड शो नहीं होते, एड्स फील्ड टू लोड हैश और ट्राइंग टू फेच ऐप सेटिंग। आप किस प्रोजेक्ट की बात कर रहे हो? यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट विच प्रोजेक्ट एग्जैक्टली? Right. So here we have given this. Now one more thing, I'll just say that the default values are like this. For example, I want to give it a default font, so I'll just write it like this. And let's say that it's taking the size, the default font is bold, and suppose the size is 30 pixel. Okay, I think that's how you can give default fonts. And you can see that inside this canvas, now whatever you create would be having some default font and size. So if you want to show something later on, you can show this. I think we won't be showing anything, so I'll just keep this for now. Now I'm going to create some default variables which I'll explain later on what's the purpose of each. So first of all, scroll counter. It's like when you hit a box, you can see the box slide down, right? So that's scroll counter. For that we'll use that. Then we would be having one variable camera y, which would track the positions. Then we have current, which would be used for the scores. And then we have the mode. So we would be having two modes. One mode would be box is moving horizontally. Okay, once you click the canvas, the box moves vertically. So for that we have mode. Then we have speed in x direction. That's it. Now I'll have one more variable, let y speed, and I'll just say that the y speed would be 5. Suppose we are going to define some speed here, 5. Okay, so y direction, that is speed in y direction, is 5. Later on, as soon as the new box comes, we'll increase the speed, and like that. Okay, so speed is 5, and then after that I'll just say let height. I'll just decide some default height. Okay, height is 50. And now what I'm gonna say is I'm gonna create an array of boxes. Why we need an array of boxes? So you can see when we start the game, you can see we have some boxes. Okay, so to store all the boxes, we need an array of boxes. Okay, so I'll just create an array. So let boxes equals array of boxes. Okay, now this array of boxes would be containing each box. A single box would be having some properties. So a single box would be an object. Okay, a single box would be an object. So boxes, right? And inside this I'll be having an object. Suppose I'll just say initial box would be created. So in the 0th index I'll just create a default box. That means when you load the game, what you want is, you can see a single box comes here, right? A single box comes here. That's what I want. Okay, so when you load the game, I want a default box. Okay, so equals, and then I would just say that the x position of this, x means position, in this case x means position. Okay, so position in x direction is 300, and y position is again 300, and the width of the box would be, around 200. Okay, that's what I have said. Okay, so I've said that position of a box in x direction would be starting from 300, and in y direction starting from 300. So it's like, when you look at this, this is actually from x direction, that is 300 would be somewhere here. Okay, and y directions 300 would be somewhere here. So you can see that the box is starting from here, and then I've decided the width. So the width would be like this. Okay, width would be 200, around 200 is the width, and height we have given as 50 as default. You know that the height of the box is 50, which we have given, right? So this would be a default height. So we have some properties. Now we need one more thing, that is debris. What is debris? So once you click on this, you can see some extra piece drops down. That's what is debris. Okay, just remember this word, because we are going to use this. So this is known as debris. Debris is just like some extra field, extra data extract. Okay, so that's what the debris is. So initially I would just define my debris, but later on the debris size would depend according to your box. Okay, so debris equals, and I'm just going to say that its value, it would be initially at position x0, and the y position would be 0. Okay, y would be 0, but I'll just say that the position x would be 0, and the width would also be 0. Okay, we don't need y here, so I'll just say width would be 0. Okay, initially the debris won't be created, but as soon as I start playing the game and I hit a box, then I would create a debris. Okay, so right now I'll just define it here, that's it. Later on we are going to use this. Okay, so now let's create a function to just create a new box. A function new box. So this function would be helping us to create a new box. So let me just leave it empty for now. Similarly, we're gonna have one more function, that is function game over. So when the game is over, we are going to create another function. That's it. That means we'll restart the game. Now after this, we are gonna have one more thing, that is function, that is animate function. Okay, animate function would be called as soon as you start the game. So function animate. Okay, animate. So this is going to be the function which would help us to move the boxes in other directions. Okay, that's the animate function, right? So after that, we're gonna have one more function, that is restart function. Okay, so function restart. Okay, so this is the restart function, and we're going to use this to restart the game. Okay, now after this, I think everything is fine, and as soon as the game starts, I'm going to call this function restart function. As soon as we start the game, I'm going to call restart function and the animate function. That's it. Okay, so animate function would be actually helping us to move the box. Restart function would actually help us to start the game. Okay, then one more thing is, as soon as I press on my canvas, so you can see that this is my canvas. As soon as I press on my canvas, so you can see that the box falls down. Okay, so we actually have two methods here. Bounce and fall. Okay, so you can see right now it's bouncing, so I can say that the mode is bounce. Okay, the mode is bounce, so default mode would be bounce. You can see it's bouncing. Okay, but as soon as I click on this, the mode becomes fall. Okay, the mode becomes fall. So I'm just going to say that we're gonna have the canvas as soon as I click on the canvas. So on pointer down. Okay, on pointer down, and I'm just going to call a function. Okay, and here itself I'm going to say that if mode equals, suppose if the mode was game over. Okay, so later on I'll change the mode to game over as soon as the boxes actually don't meet, like this. So you can see that in this case game is over. Okay, So I'll change the mode to game over in my animate function. Now you can assume that game was over and I again press on the pointer. So you can see again I press on the canvas. If I press on this, I want to restart the game, right? I want to restart the game. So I would just say that call the restart function. That's it. Okay. Now apart from this, the else case, I would just say that if mode equals bounce. Okay. So I'm just saying that if the mode is bounce, that means box was moving left to right, and I click on the canvas, what I want is I want the box to move downwards. Okay, so I'll just say in the move to downwards. Okay, so fall means moves downwards, box moves downwards. Okay, so now if as soon as I click on this, you can see box moves downwards. So this is what right now it's in what bounce mode. You can see it's in bounce mode. As soon as I click on this, it's on fall mode. As soon as the box touches, a new box would be created and the mode would be bounce mode. Okay, as soon as I click on this, you can see it's what fall mode. Okay, that's how it actually works. So fall mode, bounce mode, fall mode, bounce mode, right? So now this is for the pointer, it would work, right? Now after that we have to perform one thing, that is we want the restart function. Okay, we want the restart function to work. Okay, so let me just see your doubts. It's my project running from here on Play Store. Okay, like I think this is an Android application. Okay, so I think you have uploaded it in like you created this on Kotlin or React Native. Like what's the exact technology which you have used? Okay, do one thing. Do one thing. You can actually contact me on Instagram. So for that, what you have to do is just visit my GitHub profile. You can just mention this specific doubt. If it's your project, you can mention that in my Instagram. So my GitHub profile is github.com/VIRAJJ014. If you visit this, you would find my GitHub profile, and here you just have to yeah, you can look for my Instagram profile or my LinkedIn profile. You can message me there. Okay, so these are my handles. If you want to contact me for your personal projects, you can contact me here, right? So now let's continue. I think there are some policy updates, by the way, in ads. Like you are trying to show ads in your mobile application, right? So there are some policy updates, and Play Store actually updates the policies again and again, and you have to follow that. So we have to look at the solution later on. So you can message me on my Instagram account, right? Now let's continue. So till now what we have done is, till now we have created this. Now we have to perform the restart function. We have to create the restart function. That means assume that this much game is created. Assume that this much game is created. Okay, and I made game over. After this, what must happen? After this, what must happen? As soon as you click on this, game would be restarted. What happens is all the boxes would be removed except the one box, default box. So if I click on this, you can see all boxes are removed and we only have one box. Okay, and you can see the boxes and at the exact center, and the mode is, you can see, like this. Okay, so we have to just reset the properties as soon as we restart the game. So I'll just reset some properties. Later on we complete the game, I'll explain this again. So I'll just say that first of all, that suppose when game is over, we would be showing game over text. Okay, we would be showing game over text, but when we are restarting the game, we have to hide the game over text, right? So we'll just say that game over text dot style dot display as none. So we'll hide the game over text, right? We'll just make the display as none. Then we would remove all the boxes. So boxes dot splice, and inside this I'll just say, starting from the first index, not the zeroth index, I'll keep the zeroth box, and I'll remove all other boxes. Okay, that means I'm just keeping one box and I'm removing all other boxes. So starting from first index, index 1, to the last index, remove all boxes, just keep the zeroth index box. That's it. So that's what we have used splice for. Okay, so we have created an array, and later on, as soon as we add more boxes, this array would fill up. Okay, what I said is, just keep the zeroth box and remove all the boxes as soon as I restart the game. Okay, so this is it. Now the default mode here which I want would be bounce. I want the box to bounce from left to right. Okay, initially the box would be bouncing from left to right. As soon as I hit this, I would make the mode as fall. As soon as I click on this, I would make the mode as fall. Okay, that's what I've said here, right? So the initial mode would be bounce. After that, I want the camera Y position to be 0. Okay, then we'll be using this variable. I'll explain the logic. Then we have scroll counter variable and I'll just make it as 0. Okay, then I'll just define some speed for x. So suppose the speed of x is 2, default speed of x is 2. Initially I think I haven't defined the speed of x. So as soon as the game starts, as soon as you load the website, restart function is called. So x speed has the default value as 2 now. Okay, now after that we have current equals 1. So we have to look for current. I think current is for the score, and yes, I think the score would be starting from 1 only. Okay, let me just check. If I start the game, no, current would be used for something else. Hey, sorry for this, but can you please upload the final version of the fitness feed project? The one currently on your GitHub doesn't have the admin complete. It's just the bare bones app. Okay, I think there is some issue with the admin code. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Okay, I'll upload the admin part also. I think I might have missed to upload that. I'll upload the code. Okay, admin panel code. Okay, thanks for sharing that. Okay, right. Now let's stick back to the project. So here what I've said is later on I'll explain what's the purpose of current. Okay, right now I just made the current as 1. Okay, and now what else? I want to just call new box function. Okay, so as soon as my game starts I would call the new box function. So new box function would be called I'll just make b as capital, copy paste. Okay, and after that what else we would do is we'll just make the y position of my debris as 0. So I'll explain debris also, rest everything would be explained. Right now I've just set the properties. Okay, now we are going to use these. Okay, now we are going to use this. So as soon as the game starts, what I've said is just set these properties. Now one more thing is required is new box function. So what's the purpose of new box function? So it would help us to create a new box. Okay, new box like this. Okay, new box like this is a new box, right? This is a new box. So this is a new box. Okay, this is a new box. Okay, so this is dependent on what? This is dependent on the last box. Last box is of this size, so you can see new box is also of the same size. If I suppose make it more smaller, you can see now the new box is of the same size as the last box. So you can see that according to that new box would be created, right? So we are going to say that we have new box function and it's totally dependent on the last box. So I'll just say that new box function, inside this I would look for boxes. Inside this I would just look for the current index. Okay, that means the latest box which we want to create. I'll just say that the position x of this box would be 0 and the position y would be dependent on the current index. Okay, plus 10 into height. That's it. Okay, then I would just give it some width. Okay, so then I would just give it some width. So width would be around dependent on the last box. Okay, dependent on the last box. So I'll just say that boxes array, from the boxes array just look for the last index and just give it some width, then give the same width. Okay, last width. Okay, that means I'm saying that the new box which I'm going to create, I wanted to give it the same width as the last box. Okay, now what's exactly this, we'll see this. Okay, so this is just for giving some width, some x and y position to the boxes. So you can see that as soon as I create this, so you can see that again according to the width you can see a new box would be created with the last width. So you can see according to the last width you can see we have the new box width, right? So now let's come back and our new box would be created like this. Okay, so our code is now actually almost done. Here you can see this is the game. Right now we don't have anything. Now we have to show the box. How we have to show the box? Logic is done, but we have to show the box. So for that we have the animate function. Okay, so now we are going to write the animate function. Okay, so animate function is very easy. I'm just going to say, okay, so but before that I'll just complete the game over function also. Okay, what I've said is when I restart I hide the game over text. So when the game is over I would show the game over text. Okay, so display as block and I'll make the mode as game over. Okay, I'll make the mode as game over so that the game stops and the text is shown. So if game is over, okay, then mode is game mode of the game is over. Okay, and I click on the pointer, that means if I click on the canvas I'll restart the game. That's what I want. Okay, so if I make the game over, okay, so if I make the game over, you can see now the game is over. game is over, game mode is over, and the text is shown. Now if I click on this, my game would be restarted, so restart function is called. Okay, so that's what I wanted, so that's what is written here, game over and then restart function. And if the game mode is over and if you click the pointer, then it will restart the game. Okay, it's restart the game. I've hidden everything and I've reset the values. Okay, now the final thing is animate function, very important, the most important one. So if you are playing the game, the mode is not game over obviously, so I'll just say that if mode is not equal to game over, that means you are playing the game, right? That means you are playing the game. So okay, it's actually inside my animate function. So yes, I'm saying that if mode is not game over, that means you are playing the game. If mode is game over, that means you are not playing the game. Okay, you are not playing the game. So if you are playing the game, if you are playing the game, this is it. Else, in else case, you don't have to do anything. Okay, you don't have to do anything, right? And what else? Yes, now inside this, I'm just going to write a few things. I'm going to say context dot, I'm going to create a rectangle. Okay, so clear rectangle, and according to your canvas, a context would be created. Okay, a context would be created. That's it. Now one more thing is I'm going to create a score number. So score number dot inner HTML equals current minus 1. Okay, so current is actually 1. Current is actually 1. So 1 minus 1, 0. So the default score would be 0. Default score would be 0. So in the inner HTML, I'm talking about this. I'm talking about this. You can see right now it's 0. Okay, if I suppose say that value of current here is suppose 5. Okay, now let's see. So you can see if I refresh, you can see right now it's not working. Why it's not working? Because we are calling the animate function here, it's called, and I'm going to just print this. Okay, so console log mode, okay, something, I'm just going to print something so that we know animate function is called, and this is it, console. And you can see cannot read properties of undefined width. Okay, so it's in line number 28. Line number 28, the problem is we are not able to read the properties of the boxes. Okay, I think I'm not able to. First of all, we are calling the animate function. This is the animate function, and here we are saying, okay, we need to request one more thing, that is window dot request animation frame. Okay, so window dot request animation frame, and then we are going to animate this again and again. Okay, so now first of all, if I reload this, type error cannot read properties of undefined width and new box. Okay, so at new box, I think you need to provide some parameters also. Here I'm saying that current into height and current minus 1. Okay, I think this is fine, this is fine, and we are not able to read this. Okay, let me just check in my final code, are we having the same error or not. Here we have everything, but here the code is not running. Okay, just a second, I'll just comment everything out first of all. Okay, and I'll just comment everything out from here also, because I'm going to know that if this function is working or not, then we'll continue. Okay, so animate function is called as soon as you run the code. So let's try to run this now. So I'll just print console. Okay, console log hello world. Okay, so you can see this function is actually running, right? This function is running now. Now what we are going to do is we are going to just call the restart function. Okay, we just call the restart function, and right now we don't need the new box function. Okay, and then I'm just going to enable everything. I'm going to enable this also, this also. Okay, so there is some problem in the new box, we'll fix that, and I think everything is fine like this. Okay, so now let's see. So you can see as soon as I load this, so you can see that the function is working properly. Okay, function is working properly. Now if I try to print the mode, let's see what happens if I try to print the mode. Yes, the mode is bounce, that means it's perfect, right? So I'm going to say that if mode is not game over, then we are going to do something, right? So I'm just going to say that here we have the if else statement. So this is for the animation. It's just like we would get the continuous animation, that's it. So here I've said that if mode is not equal to game over, that means we are playing the game. Mode is either fall or bounce, but not game over. Then this will be the case. Okay, so I'll just write here bounce or fall. These modes would be covered in this case. Okay, so now we are getting the mode, but the problem is we are not able to run this. Okay, so now inside this, if I try to print something, let's see. So you can see, yes, we are able to get the mode. That means it's working perfectly. It's working perfectly, right? So after this, what's the exact problem? We have to fix the new box. Okay, so what's the problem with the new box? And see, we have created the new box, right? We have created the new box, and I think we have imported everything properly. Yes, and we have created the boxes. So inside the boxes we have created the zeroth index, and the zeroth index would be having these properties. Okay, everything is fine here, but I think, okay, I'll just remove this. I think now it must work. We have the new box function. Inside this I have said that box is current, initial value of this is 0, and initial value of y would be this much height, and then some width. Okay, then some width. Looks fine. Now let's try to test this. Okay, now let's try to test this. I think yes, now let's try to test this. So you can see type error, cannot read properties of undefined reading width in line number 28. In line number 28 it's not able to get this. Okay, it's not able to get this. Why? Because now let's try to print the boxes. Okay, so console.log boxes. Okay, I'm trying to print the boxes. Let's see if there is some issue or not. Okay, so boxes, so you can see new boxes, and yes, it's trying to look into the zeroth index, the width. Okay, so boxes current -1. Okay, so boxes current -1, current -1. So it would give me undefined. Okay, so that's the problem, because I haven't set the current. Okay, I haven't set the current. Okay, that was the problem, because I haven't set the current. Okay, so that's because of what you can see, that current has just been set to this. Okay, so if I make it 1, just 1, now let's see if it works or not. Yes, it's able to work very easily. Okay, it's able to work very easily. That was the problem. Okay, so the current value would be 1. That means it would look at the first index. Zeroth index would be filled by default. Okay, that's why current value is 1. Okay, zeroth index would be filled by default. That's why I started from the 1, current as 1. Okay, that's why. Okay, so I'll just now remove this. This function is perfect, and we are going to say that if mode is game over, not game over, then we are going to create a context for our canvas. We created a context for our canvas. Then we are going to say that the score is this much. So right now, if I just show you, can see that the score is like this. Okay, so let me just show some number. If I just make it 5, so you can see that the score is 5. Okay, that means score is also working. We are going to update the score variable again and again, but initially I would just make it current -1. That means how many boxes are there right now? There is only one box. Okay, so the score would be 1 -1. If there are two boxes, score is what? Score is what? 2 -1. That means current variable displays what? Current variable is for just the count of boxes. So I'll just write it like this. Okay, I'll just write it like this. Current means number of boxes, and score means current -1. That means if there are two boxes, score is 1. If there is one box, the score is 0, right? So that's how it actually works. Now I'll come back, and here itself I have said that the initial score would be set. Okay, whatever is it. Now after that, we have to update the score as soon as we play the game. Okay, so for that, first of all, let's create a for loop. Okay, let's create a for loop. Let m equals 0. I'm going to say that suppose there are 10 boxes in my boxes array. So I'm going to show this. Okay, so right now, if I just give you an example, you can see right now there are how many boxes. So if I hit this, there are now 3 boxes. You can see 3 boxes. So we have to show these 3 boxes. You can see these 3 boxes are shown, right? So for this, we are going to create a for loop. For this, we are going to create a for loop. Let's create that. Light Yagami, yo, hehe. All right, so we have to show three boxes using a for loop. So we are going to create a for loop now. So here itself we have said that n equals 0. You know that in your boxes array, right now you have how many boxes? You have 3 boxes. Okay, so we are going to just traverse through that array. So boxes dot length, 3 boxes, right? So traverse to that and n plus plus. So that's how we created the for loop. So we can have n number of boxes stacked over each other, right? I'm going to target that specific box for each of this loop. We have 1 box each, right? Every time this loop runs, we have 1 box each. We have 3 boxes. So first of all, we are talking about the first box, the second box, the third box. So target the specific box. So box and box is n. This means what? If the value of n is 0, that means I'm talking about the latest box, last box. Okay, last box. I'm talking about this. I'm talking about this. This is the 0th index, right? If the next time n becomes 1, n becomes 1 because of n plus plus, then in this case we are targeting which box? We are targeting this second one. Similarly, we are targeting the third one, that means this one, and so on. Okay, so box just contains the specific box which we are talking about. Okay, now we have to just fill that box. Okay, we just have to fill that box. So context dot fill style equals, and here I'm going to write RGB and then brackets, and here we are just going to use some JavaScript properties. Okay, so I'll just write it directly as it is so that we can save time. So it's just like we are giving it some color. Now this is what, if n's value is 0, so it would become 0 0 0, that means black. Okay, like that. Okay, so let's try to use this. So initially you can see it's extreme black, but as n became 1, so it would be 16 16 16, so a little bit lighter. Okay, you can play this. So it's like black, light black, gray, light gray, like that. Okay, so the color would be decrease as n increases. Okay, now I'll come here and I'll just say context dot fill rectangle. I'm just going to create a box directly. Okay, similarly we are going to create 3 boxes. Okay, so first box would be created, similarly second box would be created, third box would be created. So fill rect, and inside this I'll just say just target the x position of the current box, target the y position of the current box. It's the purpose of this is to show the box in your canvas. Okay, we have a box into our loop, but we have to show that box into our canvas, right? So we are showing that box into our canvas. So x position and y position, y would be actually like 600, that's the width of the canvas, minus box dot y. Okay, we'll show it like this. Then we're going to have some camera position also. Okay, we have some camera position also, because as you can see that as soon as we play the game, the boxes shift downwards. Okay, find this, you can see boxes shift downwards, so it would be having some camera position, okay, so that's what camera y is. Okay, so now after this what we're gonna have is we're gonna have box dot width, we're going to show the width, and then height is 50. Okay, height is 50, right? That's it. Okay, so now let's see if we have the first box or not. So you can see we have the first box as well as we have the game start box. Okay, we have the game start box, that means we have the new box. Okay, we have the new box, we have the first box also, and then we have the left right moving box also. Okay, we have the left right moving box and we have the new box. This is what the center box. Okay, this is what the center box, 300 300, the position is 300 300 and the width is 200. Now according to this, a new box would be created, a new box is created as soon as we start the game. A new box is created, right? So this is what a new box is. A new box is starting from the 0th position of x. You can see it's starting from the 0th position of x, and y position is little bit lower. You can see it's little bit lower, you can see little bit lower, right? And now after that you can see that the width of this is dependent on the previous box, right? The width of this is dependent on the previous box, and that's how it actually looks. Suppose if I make the default width as 10, so you can see that this is 10, so the new box would be taking 10. Okay, I hope now you understood. So this is the default box which is in center, and this is the new box which is being created, right? So now the initial part is done. Now we have to move the box. Okay, so for moving the box, we are going to first of all say that okay, after this we are going to look for debris also. Debris is what so you can see as soon as I hit this, you can see this became yellow, so we have to create debris. So here the context was black, but after that I'll make the context as yellow. Okay, so I'll just say context dot fill style equals yellow. That's it. That means whenever we are creating a debris, now it would become yellow. Okay, for all the boxes they became black, but after that if you just create a new debris, that means a new fall, after that we create a debris, the debris would become yellow. Okay, so I just made it yellow. And then what else? We'll create a debris. Okay, so debris would be created as soon as the boxes are updated. So fill rect, and I would just create a debris. So I'll just say debris dot x comma, and same as 600 minus debris dot y. Okay, plus camera y, exactly same, it's exactly same. So I'm just creating a debris exact same width as the last one. Okay, exact same as the last one. Okay, it's just like exact same as the debris. Okay, I'm sorry, exact same as the debris. Okay, that means the position of x is 0 and width is 0, so it would be like, it would be position x as 0, and then similarly we're gonna have the width and height. Now where is the y position of debris, where is the camera y of debris? We don't know right now, right? So we'll create that, but right now you can assume that we are given the default properties to our debris. Okay, every time when the new box is created, it would be shown, and after that some properties for debris have been set. But right now also the debris is not complete. We'll create the debris dependent on the last box. So you can see right now, if I hit this, debris is dependent on the last box, right? So you can see the amount of extra which you drop, that's what is dependent, right? That's what is dependent. So right now you can see debris is not created, so we have to write the logic. How we can write that? So here itself I'm just going to say that when you're talking about bounce mode, initially the mode is bounce when you start the game, right? So if the mode is bounce, I want to move the box, top box, to move left and right, left and right. Okay, so I'll just say boxes dot current. Okay, dot current, actually I need to write it like this, dot current. Okay, that means I'm talking about the top box. I would say that the x position would be changing, okay, would be changing according to the speed. So boxes current dot x, that means the x position. You can see when you create a new box, you can see this is what I am talking about. This top one, you can see it must move left and right, so I would give it some x speed. Okay, x speed. As soon as the x speed increases, this box would move like this and like this. Okay, so it's dependent on the x speed. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Target the top box, target this top box. I'm not talking about these type of boxes, I'm talking about this, that means current. Target this top box, target this top box, and I'm saying that the position of this would be changing according to the x speed. So I've just said that x is initially 0, x is initially 0, right? And I would be changing it according to the x speed. But x speed is also constant, so we have to make it variable, we have to make it move, we have to make it change. So for that I'll just say that if x speed is greater than 0 and boxes current current dot x plus the width plus boxes width, boxes current width, that means I'm saying that if this box, if the box top box hasn't reached the right side, if it hasn't reached the right side, then just increase the speed. Okay, just increase the speed, that means I want to make it reach the right side. Okay, so I'll just say if it's like this, canvas dot width. So this is when the box has reached the right side. I'm sorry, this is when the box has reached the right side and I want to make the box left side in that case. Okay, but if the box is initially starting from the left side, right? If the box is starting from the left side, you can see that it's starting from the left side to the right side. Now what we have to do is, as soon as it reaches the right side, we have to just shift the speed. Okay, we have to shift the speed, so we'll just shift the speed. So we'll just say x speed equals minus x speed. So let's see how it works now. So from left to right everything is fine, but from right to left you can see that it changes. But as soon as it reaches the left, you can see that it again didn't stop here, so we have to stop it here. So I'll just say that if if x speed is lesser than 0, that means x speed became negative, is negative, and box has reached the left side, then just change the value. Okay, so right now if it's in the right side, you can see if it's in the right side, you can see value changes. Now if it became the left side, if it came in the left side, you can see that the value changes. Okay, so we're just shifting the value and the speed is like that. Okay, speed is accordingly, right? So that's how it actually works. Now have you understood this? And it's doing this again and again, again and again. We are calling this function again and again, so every time 5 would be added, 5 would be added. That's why you are seeing it like an animation. Okay, so this is it. Now this is for bounce mode. So as soon as I click on this, you can see bounce mode is converted to fall mode. That's why the box is stopped. As soon as the box is reaching the fall mode, I want this to move in y direction. I want this to move in y direction. So I'll just say that if mode equals fall, then the box must move in y direction. So we'll just write the logic for y direction. I'll just say falling of the boxes would be targeted here. So falling of box. Okay, so first of all we'll declare the speed, we'll decide the speed. So for that, boxes which one you want to fall. Again, we want to fall the current one. This is the current one. Okay, this is current, right? So I want to this one, I want to make this one fall. So I'll just say boxes current dot y. So I'm going to increase the y speed, right? I'm going to increase the y speed, actually decrease the y speed. So I'll just say just decrease the y speed. So now if I click this, you can see that's how it actually works, right? So okay, I'll just restart the game. So you can see right now it's like this. If I hit this, you can see it moves in y direction, and it's moving in y direction because we are decreasing the y position, right? That's how it actually works. Okay, now if you understood this, now what you have to do is, as soon as the box reaches the this stack, as soon as the box reaches this stack, so we have to stop the box. Okay, we have to stop the box. So for that, what we can do is, if boxes dot actually boxes current y, that means the y position of the falling box is equal to the second last box. Second last box is what? So in this case, suppose you played some game. Okay, for example, this is it. Now you can see this is what current and this is what second last box. Okay, so we are saying that if its height matches with the second last box, then stop the fall. Okay, stop the fall. So I'm just saying that boxes second last box would be what? Current minus 1. Current minus 1, right? So current minus 1 dot y plus height. Okay, that's it. So I'm saying that if it reaches to the height, if it just reaches, if it starts falling and you can see it reaches the height, so just stop the fall, just stop the fall. So you can see I'm stopping the fall. So I'll just again say mode is again bounce. That's it, mode is again bounce. So now let's start the game. So if you are like this, so you can hit this. Now you can see again the mode is bounce, but here also you can see a new box is not created. New box is not created, it's the same box. So first of all we want to remove the debris, the yellow part. Okay, we want to remove the yellow part. For that, what we can do is, I just first of all find the difference. Okay, I'll just first of all find the difference, the contact difference. Okay, so if it falls like this part is what? Debris. Okay, this part is debris. So difference equals what? So I'll just say that find the current box which fell right now, current box, its x position minus the second last box's x position. Okay, we are just comparing that. Okay, we are just comparing that. Okay, and we'll say that the x position of the current box which fell and last box which fell, if the difference is something, okay, if the difference is something, that means we have some difference, but it's not the total width of the box. Okay, not the total width. I mean total width is like this difference. Okay, this is the current box. If it fell like this, so this is what the width of current box and this is the width of old box. So you can see that the difference between these two is this much width. Okay, this much width, this is what? Current box width. That means it would fall directly like this. That means game must be over. But if it fell something like this, that means width is lesser than the x difference. Okay, width is less than the x difference. This is the x difference, right? This is what the x difference, but this is the total width. Okay, this is the total width. So I'll just explain this again. Okay, so I'll just write if math. Now we have to make it absolute because it would be in decimals. So I'll just say that the x difference is greater than equal to the width. Okay, greater than equal to width. That means the exposition of current box is this and the exposition of the previous box is this. You can see that it will fill directly because there is huge gap. That's what I'm saying. The x difference is much greater than the width. Okay, if I say this is the case, in this case also you can see x difference is greater than the width. But if I say we are talking about this case, you can see x difference is lesser than the width. Okay, so in that case the box would stop, else the game would be over. In this case game would be over, right? So I'm just going to say current dot width, current dot width. Okay, and inside this I'll just say game over. That's it. So let's see. So as soon as I reach this, you can see it's working properly. But if I reload this, and now I'm going to just fall after that. So if I reload this, you can see that game is over. If I click on this, game restarts. Okay, so now you know that game is over and working perfectly. But if I have some lesser width, you can see that if the x difference is lesser than the width of the box, current box, then what you have to do? Then in else case, you have to create a debris. So I'm just going to create a debris. Okay, now this time I'm going to give them proper value. So you know that we had the debris, right? We had the debris, but it had the x position and it didn't had the y position, and it also didn't had the width. Okay, so we have to create that. Okay, so I'll just give it some width. Okay, I'll just give it some width. So width will be what? So first of all, the y position of the debris would be starting when the boxes collide. Okay, so y position would be when the boxes collide. Okay, and the width would be the difference which we created. That's it. That's what we wanted. Now as soon as we create this, the debris would be created. Now debris has all the properties. Here you can see we created the debris. It had the x and width. Okay, now you can see that the x position, and according to that you can see that the rectangle is filled, and you can see the debris would show the fall like structure, and we have given the property also. So as soon as debris is created, this function would be called again, animate function would be called again, and this time we would see the proper debris falling. Okay, so for that what you can do? So for that we have to make the debris fall. Now the question is, if you create the debris, you can see if you fall it left side, you can see it falls left side. If you make it right side, you can see it falls right side. So we have to apply the logic. For that what you can see is, what you can say is, here I'll write a logic. First of all, for right side, okay, cut from right side. Okay, from right side. Similarly we're going to cut from left side. So cut from left side. Okay, so we are going to cut the debris according to left and right side. Let's do that. So we need to say that we have the debris from right side. That means what we want to do is, let's come back here, and I'm going to just restart the game. You can see I want the cut the debris from right side. You can see from right side. This is what we want. So for that we'll write the logic for right side. Okay, so here we'll write the if condition. I'll just say that the current box is x. That means the box which just now fell, the x value of that box is greater than the previous one. That means this is the current box. X position of this box is obviously greater because it's in the right side. You can see x position is greater, so that means we are in the right side. Now if it cuts, then we are saying that yeah, we are in the right side, so cut from right side. Okay, if the current box, this is the current box which is falling, and this is the previous box, you can see if the x of previous box, you can see that this is the x positions. So this is the previous box, this is the current box, this is the previous box, and you can see if it's in the left side, the x would be lesser. So if it falls, you can see left side would be targeted. So right now we are talking about the right side. That means current box right side, and this is the previous box. So you can see like this. So this is the lesser x, this is the higher x. Higher x for current box has higher x, and lesser x for the previous box. Okay, in that case Let's write. So boxes, you can imagine this in your mind also. I think with my camera you might not be able to see this properly. So current minus 1 dot x, right? So I'm saying that the box which fell is having a larger x value. In that case we are talking about right fall. Okay, right fall, right side, cut from right side. So in that case I'll just say boxes dot current dot width. I'll just say as soon as the cut happens, you can see as soon as the cut happens, you can see that the current box's width actually changes, right? Just ignore the debris right now. You can see width actually changes, so we have to say that the width would change. So width equals boxes current width minus difference, whatever is the difference accordingly. Okay, so this is if the debris is created in the right side, and now we have to make the debris fall also. So I'll just say debris dot x equals, and I'm going to just say boxes current dot x. Okay, current dot x plus boxes current dot width. Okay, so I'm just saying a debris would be created with the x position. Now you can see that all the properties have been given. You can see x position was 0, width was 0. Now what I've said is as soon as the debris is created, y position was allotted. As soon as the collision is happening, then the difference is also allotted to the debris, right? And then I've said the x position would be what? X position of the debris would be what? Would be the extra space. That means in right case the extra space would be here, in left case the extra space would be here. Now the debris is also created. Now similarly in the else case we are going to just do the opposite. That means we are going to cut from the right side. So I'll just say that the width, so the debris dot x would be having lesser. Okay, it would be having I'm sorry, debris dot x would be having just the difference. Okay, just the difference, that's it. So current x minus difference. Okay, this is for the left side, cutting the debris from left side, right? So after that we need one more thing, that is we need to add the difference. Instead of subtracting the difference, we have to add the difference into what? Current width. And then we are going to just say that one more thing, that the x position of the current box would be becoming the exposition of the previous box. Okay, that's it. So now let's see how it actually works. So you can see that again this is the game, and now if I cut it from right side, so you can see that a debris is created with the same width which was extra. If I cut it from left side, so you can see, okay, in the left side I think this wasn't working properly. If I reload, let's see if it works for the left side. So you can see yes, it works one time. So we have to restart the game. Actually we don't need to restart the game. We have to create a new box after this. And we have to make the debris fall. Right now the debris is not falling, so let's make the debris fall. So for that we will say, that we have moved the debris, right? So we are going to increase the speed first of all, since the mode is bounce. Okay, so we'll just say that increase the speed of x speed. If one collision has happened, next time when you are trying to make a fall, the speed must be more. Okay, speed must be more. So I'll just say speed would be increased x speed plus plus. Okay, I'm increasing the speed by 1. Okay, you can just change this as per your demand. And in else case I would just say decrease the speed. Okay, so when there is some collision, you can see when there is some collision, can see if I click on this, there is some collision, can see now the speed increase. If I click on this, you can see that the speed would increase every time you hit this. Okay, now you have to say one more thing, that is you have to increase the limit. So I would just say current plus plus. Okay, current plus plus. So I would just say current would be increased. And what else? I would actually scroll the boxes. So scroll counter equals height. So I would just scroll the boxes by 50. Okay, by 50. So now let's see. So if I hit this, so you can see, okay, the game actually stopped. Cause of what? Because I think we have increased the current, but we have to show the debris. Okay, we have to move the debris also. I'm sorry. So I'll just call new box after this, and then I have after this function, you can see after this if statement, and we came outside of the fall. Okay, we came outside of the fall. Here we would just say debris would fall. Debris would fall. That's it. So we would make the debris fall, right? So let's see. So if I just cut from the left side, so you can see debris is falling and new box is created. So you can see guys, now the game is actually created. Now the game is actually created. But the scroll counter is not working. Why it's not working? Because we have to apply the logic. But you know that we are increasing the scroll counter. You can see here what we have done is we have said that as soon as everything happens, increase the scroll counter. Okay, increase the scroll counter. What we have said is increase the scroll counter, I think. Yes. So if there is a change in scroll counter, if there is a change in scroll counter, then we'll just increase the camera Y position with +1, and we'll again decrease the scroll counter. That's it. Okay. So now let's see if I reload. I think there is some problem here now. Uh, Let me just right click and inspect here. Okay, so console, and here you can see scroll counter is not defined. Okay, it's actually scroll counter. Okay, scroll counter. Yes. So now let's see. So if I hit this, so you can see, yes, that's what I wanted. So as soon as scroll counter increases, you can see that the Y position of camera is changed. How it's changed? Because you can see that whenever we create this, we are defining Y of each box by camera Y position. Okay, so it would just shift next time the animate runs. Next time animate runs, all the boxes would be created with shifted Y position. Okay, so that's how it actually works, right? So now you can see guys that the game is created and the score is also being updated right now. And if I try to play this, okay, 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 and now the game is over. Okay, so now if I click this again, you can see that the game would be restarted. All right, so I hope you guys understood this. Let me just check the things here. Okay, everything is fine here. Now you can see that the game is completed. So what I'll do is I'll upload it to my GitHub profile, right? So let's do this. So I'll just create a new repository. Jaden Sachdev. Hi Jaden. So I'll just create a new repository. I'll just name it as stack tower underscore HTML CSS JS. Okay. So let's upload this. Alright guys, so you can see that we have uploaded the source code on my GitHub profile. So I'll just close this and I'll just refresh this. So here you can see that if I go to my GitHub profile, what you have to do is you just have to type github.com/viraj014. This is my GitHub profile. In the repositories, you can look for stack tower HTML CSS JS. Okay, so this is the source code available. I think it's still not uploaded. Just a second. Okay, just a second. I'll just reload. Git add dot git commit m final git push has no upstream branch. Okay, I think there is some problem. Okay, I think there is some problem and I'm not able to upload this. Just give me a second. Okay. Alright guys, now the source code is available here. You can just go here and you would find the source code, and you can just visit my GitHub profile. Just type github.com/VIRAJJ014 and you can go to the repositories. In the repositories, you would find Stack, Tower, HTML, CSS, JS. Complete source code is available here. You can mark it as a star. If you don't find this, you can search the repository name here. You'd find this. Okay. And also, if you want to contact me, you can contact me on my social handles, Instagram or LinkedIn, if you want. Right. So, someone has a doubt. Do you have a video on how to create a chatbot using Python? No, no, I am not good at Python. I actually follow MERN stack. So I have created a lot of videos on MERN stack, not specific about the chatbot. I created a social media platform actually using MERN and React Native. So you can check out the Geeks for Geeks development channel. There I have created some projects. You'd find that. But yeah, it's not on Python. It's totally on MERN and it uses MERN completely. Right. So guys, I hope you understood this video. And after this, we're going to create a React.js project in the upcoming video. So please watch that. And I hope you understood this. I will see you in the next one. Till then, see you have a good day. Bye bye.